Good morning once again. Let me get my camera straight ish. Fucking close enough. I gonna try to tell myself, but it's not working. Um, what the hell? Okay. Anyways, that's good enough. So, if you've been doing research by watching multiple videos of mine, which a lot of you have been doing, I'm sure, um, you may wind up more confused at first than enlightened. Okay. And unfortunately, this video is not going to be any help at all as far as that goes. Sorry. Because this video is basically a 13-page long story that I just felt I had to write down the other day. It just like the thing started occurring to me, and I felt compelled by the Holy Father to write it down or else. Okay? And I don't know if anybody's had such an experience of write it down or else, but you may have had an experience of God telling you to do something or else, and you kind of resist because you're petty and human and cave to temptation in your personal vision of what's ahead of you. And then God seriously fucks up your life, my friend. Okay? It's because you were walking on faith. And that's not to dissuade people from walking on faith. That's what happens when you fuck up. And that should. When children behave badly, their parents should punish them so that they learn better and they stop being dicks to people. Okay. Moving on. So, one of the most interesting paradoxes about history that I have come across, it just seems plainly obvious, but nobody but maybe Stephen and Evan Strong, ForgottenOrigins.org, have begun to consider and do research on. And that question is, why did the British travel all the way to Australia? Either way, globe or fucking flat, either way, you couldn't pick a further spot on the fucking map. Either map, globe or flat. You couldn't pick a further spot away on the map than Australia. And as you know, during the 1700s, there were some predecessors to James Cook, allegedly as early as 1705. Okay, fine. 1700s, 1800s, early 1800s. Okay, colonial fucking times. All right, we were still using sail ships for the most part. Okay, it's pretty well known about sail ships that if you go far out at sea, that you're risking your life. Okay, so not a slave trade, nothing where we're shipping people away to make money. Okay, people risk their lives for money all the time. That's perfectly plausible. But we're supposed to believe that the British traveled what was that? 10,000 miles, at least 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles. A lot of 1,000 miles. I guess I could have fucking measured it before I decided to film the videos, but I mean, there isn't nothing further than from fucking Britain to Australia, okay? And we're supposed to believe that they risked the lives of their ship's captains and crews and risked the ships themselves to drop fucking prisoners off in Australia. Because they just smelt so bad we had to get them on the other side of the earth. What? I act like a moron. I know a lot more answers than I let on. Okay, but I'm trying to walk you through this experience, so it's a little less to take in, and you don't just go he's crazy and fucking just shut it off. Okay, the land of Oz. There's more truth in movies, my friend, than there is in the history books. Because demons can do what demons are permitted to do. But guess what? God plays tricks on demons all the time. Oh. Anyway. Oh, there's always reasons. So there's always very, very good reasons. So what I'm about to do is this. I mean, look at this. I wrote this down thinking I was going to do some research on it. And I wound up with literally a paused game on my TV screen. Just playing a few seconds and writing. And I'd be like, writing more down. Playing a little while. Gonna write more down. And there's a difference between figuring things out and praying for the answers. Okay. And I don't know if I could explain that to anyone's satisfaction who doesn't already know the difference. But when you don't consider possibilities and try to build on them, and you just wait until you kind of see it like you were there, that's how you pray for your own memories to come back, basically. All right. So I even started this one as like a different titled video. And I got distracted for a second, and I think I just started continuing on this as I was writing it down. Like it was all just one big thing I was compelled to write. So, how to relate the Johannite Genocide to Putin's Russia and the myth of the Cold War's end. Well, what the fuck does that have to do with Australia? That's a good question. Let's find out together, shall we? I only vaguely remember what the hell I wrote. I mean, I'm kind of afraid to do this. I might have to delete this video. It might be embarrassing. I don't know. But let's see. If you knew someone for 20 years and you knew they weren't the most honest person in the world, but you trusted them, you thought they were decent, but one day you found out they were telling some really big lies and doing some disturbing, evil shit, and still seemingly cool about it, acting like it was just another fact he filled you in on? Well, you'd start questioning everything he ever told you. He'd come at you with that and turn it around on you and say, no, it's just a conspiracy against me. Well, what would you do? Obviously, you'd start wondering if everything he ever told you was a lie, right? Known him for 20 years. I always knew there's something not quite right about him, but, he never really, I never caught him lying to me, you know? But then, not only you catch him lying, but you catch him in a big lie. Right. You're going to start wondering how much bullshit he's gotten away with in the past. Otherwise, I guess you're just not a reflective person and probably don't have very much wisdom at all. Well, I'm just going to hold it up. Well, how many conspiracy theories that incriminate the U.S. government, right, are promoted by RT, Alex Jones, and other known meat puppets of Vladimir Putin? Other known shills, as they say. We basically have Putin via command structure to thank for all of this, and many Russians and many Russian writers who came before them. I have horrible, horrible handwriting. Okay. So you trusted somebody 20 years and you find out they're a big fucking liar. Are you going to keep repeating all the shit they ever told you? Or are you going to question it? That's the basic premise. Because we have a situation where most of the commonly accepted conspiracy facts might be very well manufactured conspiracy fiction. And it seems I have to be the one to point it out. So here's what I'm trying to do, people. Moving on. So let's focus on the conspiracy that started when the conspiracies that started just since Putin took power. You got coal bombing, Columbine, 9/11, Iraq WMD disappearing, Sandy Hook, BP disaster, you got Fukushima, Monica Lewinsky scandal happened immediately after Putin took power. What is DNA? Depends on your definition of the word is. You know nothing. Wake up, little children. It's time for school. Be prepared or be scared. Anyway, moving on. So, it's occurred to me, especially considering that there's been recent attempts at mass pamphlet distribution in the lower Ninth Ward and other racially tense areas in New Orleans, just like they've done in Crimea and Ukraine, and even in the Baltic states recently. Okay? In fucking New Orleans, in the lower Ninth, I mean, there are active Russian agents in New Orleans right now. And New Orleans is the single most strategically vulnerable and the single most strategically important point on the map as far as invading and disabling the United States of America. Wake up, people. You have this thing called the Isle of Orleans. I'm just going to go into it right quick. You have this thing called the Isle of Orleans. Okay. And it is a landmass that is pretty much self sustaining, that is completely surrounded by large bodies of water. Okay. That's called New Orleans. And Jefferson Parish, Clackamas, everything below the lake and to the east of the spillway and the river. Okay. Yeah. Lake, river. Okay. In between there, spillway. Lake, river, lake, river, spillway. Isle of Orleans. Okay. Gulf of Mexico. See what I'm saying? With modern weaponry, a place like that can become a fortress for a beachhead. When I first reported on this, I mean, our boys are taking this seriously. When I first reported this, it wasn't to fucking YouTube. Okay. And the response I saw was posted on YouTube in the form of a train with mech infantry, M1 Abrams, fuel tank, on a train going south in Metairie, in New Orleans. Basically, this is the Isle of Orleans. This is the Clearview Parkway, okay? And there's a bridge that crosses the river right here, all right? These fuckers were going that way. Anyways, I've been helping the Obama campaign for a long time. I don't know what to tell you if you hate Obama. Sorry, he's a good guy. You've just been listening to lies. You don't know a damn thing about anything if you don't like Obama. I mean, the biggest mistake he made was calling ISIL the varsity team, and then making a critique of people who are confused about what true Christianity is. Clip taken out of context, by the way, understood by very few. And yeah, Christianity isn't supposed to be religious. It's a direct connection between you and that which created everything. But anyway, I have notes somewhere. Oh, that was a long time to get down one fucking page. So, Katrina may have been an attempt to create a reason for a Russian invasion. But NOLA is the number one target for anyone who wants to invade us, right? But the Katrina response being something that would work in Putin's favor would mean that Bush would have had to have been Vladimir Putin's puppet, right? Really? It's funny. Because who do you think installed Bush and created all this chaos? By 1996, Putin began consolidating power. Then, after a new day of cooperation between the gas companies Enron and Gazprom, a man named Dick Bush Chicken Chain Chicken Fucker something decided to sell a baseball team, and well, he'd almost lost at gambling anyway, so that wasn't really a loss. Then he decided to run for president, but he had to become governor first. Poor him. For 2 years before he started campaigning for president, he was governor of Texas. Ran a couple of oil companies in the ground. See, Bush was Oswald. Bush is a patsy. Cheney. Shot Bush's lawyer in the face. Shot Bush's lawyer in the face. Shot Bush's fucking lawyer in the fucking face. Take it in the face, bitch. Kaboom. Bush. Watch out, Bush. You might burn. Somebody's got their chains on you. Watch out, because they're a dick. No metaphysical metaphors there at all. No, certainly the god of war hasn't been playing tricks on you. What? Where? It's sad how simple everyone has become. It is so sad. Sorry, I didn't mean to act like myself for a second. Back in character or whatever. This character? No, this isn't character. This is just how I naturally act goofy around all my friends and everything. It's just fucking, y'all are my friends now. Hey, look, I'm talking to a little box and I'm calling it my friend. Which is the same exact joke I would have made if I was talking to a box in front of somebody else. So, yeah. Whatever. I'm not a crazy person. I'm the craziest person. Yeah. So, Bush had to run for governor before he became president. Because, didn't want it to look like his daddy just gave him the office, right? And it was so convenient and accommodating that Bill Clinton just happened to have that little thing in the White House with, oh, look, a Russian girl. Oh, Russian. Russian. Okay. You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. Could be. Is it tactically correct? Is it a brilliant plan? Is it something that somebody had to think of? Oh, yeah. Oh. So who's the real sucker here? You or Monica? Ah. Because we all nodded off and let our country get stolen. Don't worry. Sit tight. Everything's fine. We actually already took it back. You're welcome. Who's been saying otherwise? Media. That's who. Media is not a method of recording and distributing information. Media is an empire that has been at war with all who oppose it for 2,000 years, approximately. Because, let's face it, we only think we know about this 2,000-year period because we were told by, guess who? Media. Something happened in here. What it is finally clear. Yeah, I just serenaded you. Oh. Okay. Back to the note. So, see if I can hold this, do it at the same time here. Basically singeing the filter so it tightens up its sphincter a little bit. Anyways, let's all tighten up our sphincters and proceed, shall we? Media is the opposite of what media told you that media is. Media doesn't record and spread information. Media destroys information and murders those who try to escape with it. Media is the right-wing party of Rome, okay? And they weren't known as a right-wing party until they went to the fucking right, the East, Eastern Europe, Russia, Khazaria, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, okay? Left is where liberalism, freedom. We'll try to teach you how to be a good person, but it's okay if you're not. We're not going to fucking burn you kind of people. Okay? And as of the late 1400s, right had kind of moved into the center. Understand? I've said this on previous videos, but in case you haven't caught them. In Russia, when you get commended for battle or for an intelligence operation, when you are referred to as a good Republican. If you're a Republican, please don't take offense to that. But I want you to know that you're not a Republican. You belong to a party that's called the Grand Old Party. And there's this thing called compassionate conservatism, and you have betrayed it. Go look it up. I don't make requests, but you can take that as a mere suggestion. So, media doesn't spread information. They destroy it and murder those who try to escape with it. They stifle it and override it with lies. They are the force in the shadows that you've all been searching for, being led around by false prophets. The false prophets that have claimed to find the truth, and they're just all echoing each other. And they're just all reading scripts that go along with the pretty graphics presentation that they've downloaded from their superiors. Now, you can tell some of these guys are doing it themselves because it's not that pretty. It's not that easy to watch. Bless you guys for doing your fucking best, man. And I'm talking to Stars or Souls and anybody who defends the true word of God. Johannite, but nobody's really sure how to pronounce your name. But you're awesome. Jeranism does all right. Matthew Bullet, of course, the NASA channel. I mean, he gives a much needed passion to this that brings attention to it, that get people to think about it. And then, these guys with their computers try to fill them in. But then there's these other guys with these much more easy to watch presentations that are all just a little bit skewed. And I don't mean skewed as in they're misrepresenting flat earth theory, not all of them. But some of them misrepresent heliocentrism theory, which makes us all look bad. Okay? And that's some of the biggest popular flat earth videos that there are, some of the biggest popular flat earthers that there are. They don't understand the science that they're trying to debunk. Or do they? I know, girlfriend. That's why I tried to tell them. They didn't listen. It started out black lady and then wound up gay redneck. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, moving on back to the notes. If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash, you shut the fuck up. There I go, serenading you again. You feel woozy? Are you weak in the knees? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because you know how. You know how bitches be swooning over the Veggie Tales, man. Oh yeah. They like Larry. Oh God, I just went there. Yes, I just went there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was fucking funny. Especially because I said, I wish I was you, just so I could be laughing at me right now. I wish I was fucking a normal person all the time, but anyway, I'm not. I'm gonna get back to my fucking job. So, they. Who's they? The Men in Black? Really? Oh yeah. They got they right, and they made a movie out of it, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. If you buy that, I got some oceanfront property and fucking my ass. I should eat some prunes or something. I don't know. But who is they? Who is they? Fair question. Well, they have many names. Somebody else has many. She's been claiming to be Mother Nature for quite some time. She's gone, baby. Gone with the wind. If you look at the icons of my video, what you see is a non-photoshopped image of the day that I basically decided to go outside and see if I could stop the sun rays from damaging my eyes with spiritual energy, which was something I just kind of instinctively done while kind of having just the objective of pointing out that the sun was in the wrong fucking spot to begin with. But I moved on from that because I was throwing a fucking temper tantrum, okay? Because something wasn't right. Everything that everybody knew was a fucking lie. And I just had this massive amount of spiritual energy. And I went fucking destroying demons. Oh yeah. I'd trick them into thinking they were fucking winning. And then go back to where you came from. Little, little, speck, little fluff hair. Little program that is no longer of use. Return to source, if you will. But they have. Let's see. Let me explain something. Before Christ, there were no human kings. Okay? If you read of the princes, kings, Old Testament, okay, any of the Old Testament, those are the sons of God. Okay, those are people who are directly descended. The people became sinful, and different leaders became sinful. And I don't like to sound Nietzschean about this, but because of interbreeding with people who were there to test them, I mean, it was all part of a greater plan. But anyway, the fact is, there were no human kings until after Christ had a family. Okay? There were kings of the earth, which were direct descendants of full-blooded gods, whatever you want to call them. And then there were princes, which were half God, half human, which is technically one of the reasons why Jesus was called the Prince of Peace. Understand? And his line became the line of the kings of men for 1,000 years, and was then wiped out. Took a while. And I don't think that job was completed. But man, they did more than you can possibly imagine. They have many false names. Many false names. And many branches that serve them without even knowing it, because of their ability to overload an entire region with information. Oh, we know your fucking culture better than you do. Check this out. Don't you feel so much pride in who you are now? And it's all lies. Khazaria. Sure. Media. Of course. Philistines. Maybe. Hittites. Maybe. Sons of Heth. Hittites. Makes sense. Islam. Eastern Orthodoxy. Lately. Jesuits. What's become of them? Maltese. About half and half. That has to do with what's become of the Jesuits. Basically, what's become of the Jesuits is what would have become of America if Bush won unopposed. Okay? Just made this into a fucking oligarchy. Right? And I'm not saying we're not still in danger of that, but there's a greater tactical situation that is being twisted into being that. Basically, right now we're trying to defeat them economically. Okay? And we got to do some things nice to big businesses right now. We got to do that. Suck it up, people. Sorry, I don't like it either. Like the same way you feel about it, I feel about it. But I take a step back and I say, wait a minute, okay. When my state, and if you're in a state that is a good place for business, when my state reduces taxes, businesses move here. Obama's allowed certain concessions to the Republicans in Congress, which have enabled incentives for businesses to do business here. Incentives for American companies to stay American, and incentives for foreign companies to produce things here. Reagan did the same thing. Okay, Obama is just like Ronald Reagan, and if Ronald McDonald can have big clown shoes, so can I. I didn't even know I could do a Reagan impression. That wasn't bad. No, Johnny, I think it's. Anyway. So, Jesuits, Byzantines, scribes, Pharisees and Sadducees, post-Reformation Catholics. That is, see, this is what atheists and the whole flat earth community alike doesn't seem to recognize the implications of, okay? Some people recognize it as a factoid, but they don't connect. The Catholic Church wasn't unfriendly to science until after the so-called Protestant Reformation, rebellion, whatever, started to happen. If you've been watching Vice News, Russian roulette, and you know about the little pamphlets and how they divide each other before they try to conquer them, then that should have already raised a little red flag. But if it hasn't, let me try to explain. Okay. We know for a fact that the Russian intelligence service primarily infiltrates and pretends to be its enemy. We know that the Russian intelligence service organizes mass media campaigns in specific regions that incite violence between people and between citizenry and state. Okay? We know this. Now, how often are we told it's happening? Nobody's ever told us it's happening. Not till guess who? Obama. The whole Yugoslavia conflict happened. And guess what? You and a certain girl with black hair were both busy being a sucker. So, all these names that I mean, the Catholic thing isn't that hard to figure out. Can't move on. Finish explaining that one little brain fart there. All the things about why we should hate Catholics are based on crusades and it's based on this and that, and all these things happen in different time frames, and in different places. But they're all blown out of proportion by the same people who gave us the original information that clued us into that these things ever happened to begin with. And if it all happened, and I'm assuming it all happened, okay, kind of the way they said it did, the simplest explanation is not that this society that allowed free debate suddenly became oppressive because a couple people got greedy. People get greedy all the time. There's a lot of ways to get rich if you're greedy. All right? A lot of ways. Well, you see, this Holy Roman Empire was separate from a holier than thou Roman Empire. All right? And the reason why you don't hear much about it is because they don't fucking want you to know. They just don't want you to know. You know every reason why you should hate the U.S. government, but you don't fucking know anything about Russia anymore. Nothing. We've been lied to since World War II about everything that's been going on in Russia. We were lied to at that point about what had been going on in Russia. Understand? No clue. Only what they've told us. And if somebody you've known for 20 years gets caught in a real big lie, you really question all the bullshit that they've been feeding you that's been making you hate everything you know, making you judge your fellow man, making you turn on your government, when the government shall be upon his shoulders. I don't know of any prophets that are actually pro-government right now. I'm not a prophet. Na, 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 na. Did I just na 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 in 2 videos in a row? Yeah, I did. You got a problem with that? These things happen from time to time. And then I did another voice impression that actually turned out halfway fucking decent. I don't know what that means either. Don't inhale a loogie. Never worked out. So, all these names were either inventions of media or infested by media. Remember, media is an empire. It's not a fucking VHS. Okay? And you only need to know them by one name. And that name, to understand what they are, where they come from, what they've done, how wide scale is their deception, how was it implemented, via what method, via what means, who done it. Okay? All you need to know is to think of them by their true name. Okay? That name is no longer known as an empire, but more of a tourist attraction. That name is never an identity. Khazaria, whatever you call it, all these different names, were the demonic legion that the Celts had drove out of Europe when they had corrupted what had just been founded as the Roman democracy. By just, I mean fairly. I mean, this was after Hathor Alexandra Hermes conquered everything. But to backtrack a little, this rebellion happened. Okay. Right around what I guess is 2000. But they are just one. And the reason I call them a legion is because of the simple word you're looking for. That word that identifies who they really are. That word that is now a tourist attraction. That word that is now just kind of abstract in everybody's mind. It's a line on a map. It's a blotch. Your enemy is now, and always has been, Rome. Check out the real Crusades history. There's some politics going on there. And there's a lot of very powerful guys named John. They all kind of look alike. But they're all white people. So you know how white people all look alike. Oh, fuck. I'm on. Shit. Okay. So, I'm not talking about the reforged empire of Christendom that existed for 1,000 years after that. I'm talking about before this rebellion happened. There was one side of this giant state. Okay? And they had gained tremendous political power within Rome and caused a fucking rebellion. Okay? And they were driven to the east. Right? That's how left and right got started, right there. But the empire of Christendom that was formed after that spanned from Ireland through Egypt all the way to New Zealand and Australia. Oh, yeah, most of Africa, South India, all Christendom. Okay. The same was in the time of the younger brother when he was found again, called Emmanuel. Two stories. One. He reigned over a glorious that I believe is I want to say older brother. Anyway, incarnations of all ancients, all firstborn, can last centuries. What we have all been taught was either a meteor or cruel purging of natural predators used to be called the Dragon War. Yeah, apparently that's what I read. Okay, moving on. It was when the evil spirits of this unholy army, who would not rest without vengeance, but could not be reborn after the flood because they weren't entirely human, would take to the bodies of the fiercest predators, the fiercest beasts they could find. They would even use sex magic and chemical catalysts to manipulate the genetic makeup of their offspring, which they could simply repossess once it was convenient. Skinwalkers. Yeah. That's where they all came from. That giant holy war 2,000 years ago. I guess you could call it a holy rebellion. Whatever. I can't deny that it's real. It's chaotic in my memories, but it's a distant memory. And it sure ain't like any movie I ever saw. So it was at this time that man became masters of technology, with the help of the ancients among them, who remembered their one thing that they took with them when they were reincarnated into this life as their sword. They were incarnated once as mighty men and now as fully human. But some of the mighty men of old, you know, some were well written of. They were alive again at this time. And these were warrior spirits, okay? And the one thing they loved so much that they could take it with them as their one thought to the mirror gallery, to the lighthouse, through the tests that cleanse memories of souls before they enter this life. It's covered in other videos look for molts. Meaning of life. Stuff. Molts. Okay? Ooh, we're getting on an hour now, so I need to fucking hurry up. I guess, maybe. I'll try. I'll consider it. I'll take it under advisement. Because I'm fucking out of cigarettes, too. Oh my god, this is all falling apart. Okay. So their one thing that they took with them was their soul. Sword. Okay? It's like an ancient being who's destined to become human from the get-go would split itself into a man and a woman. A being who was destined to be an angelic host would split itself into a man and a sword. Okay? And that sword wouldn't just magically appear. It was something that in their previous incarnation they had to develop technologically. And that was with vast spiritual understanding that came from living hundreds of years. We're not just talking swords. Each one was unique in its power, as well as the manner in which it was constructed. Completely different technologies. So unto each tribe of man was born a scholar with the spirit of a warrior among the angelic hosts. And they helped guide each tribe of man to victory against their oppressors. Now, only known as the Western Empire of Rome. And they can't be that bad because we're just the Eastern Empire of Rome, right? Oh, we're the Holy Roman Empire. They're just the Byzantine Church. Everybody just got along and we all just killed people we didn't like together. No. Not at all. It was, in fact, Magdelenia. Not the Holy Roman Empire. Okay. That came later. This big empire of Christendom. Magdelenia. And it was an empire of the children and followers of Emmanuel, the Christ incarnation, I believe 400 years before, possibly 40 years before. We don't know. It could just be a fucking zero slashed off of everything. Emily, the research you found Caesarion, that was the wrong guy. The guy's name is Fomenko. Okay? And that New Earth chick was quoting him a lot. They know something. They know what I'm talking about. They're trying to preempt what I'm here to say. So, Mary, who was called Magdalene, was fit and fated to be ruler of that entire kingdom. And through that crowning, basically the world. But the war we fought was not one out of hatred, greed, or vengeance. We left our conquests, and so we left our conquests uncompleted. And deep in the high mountains of the north, the last dragon mother lived. Okay, so what I'm saying here is basically the war that the fall of Rome and all that bullshit covers up is a war between men and demons and dragons and shit. I know. It sounds fucking crazy, doesn't it? But if you've been absorbing enough, and if you've been absorbing, really, okay. One too many punches with the snake. If you've been absorbing enough information about Anunnaki, about Nephilim, about all this different crap, there is no plausible unifying theory that isn't blasphemous. I mean, you really, you got this. The Bible is true, and here's why. Oh yeah, and there's this one guy who fucking knows everything, and or what do you got? You got Scientology, is what you got. Okay. So who's coming with me, man? Who's coming with? Could you have resisted? I couldn't resist. So show me the money if they want. Yeah, I got that little contribute thing. You can send me money. I'm pretty much broke. Anyway, I have dreams too, people. I want to drive fast in my Hondas. Pretty much all I do for fun. But I was thinking, like, they got this thing where you can pay to promote stuff. Imagine if I was a sponsored league. Costs $5 per 1,200 views. I might consider investing into that. Whatever. Sorry. Moving on. It's already an hour. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Okay. This is going to be part 1. I'm sorry. It's fucking hour long, and look at this, man. Come on. So, if you're all sucked in and you want to hear more of this story, because this is where I start actually getting detailed, watch the next video, and I suppose I'll have to live with the fact that you'll have to sit through another trailer, and I might get another fucking 0.0007 of a penny each time somebody does. It adds up. Got a lot of videos, being honest. If you like or dislike this video, please click the like button. Give it a try. Make a wish. It might come true. I don't know. We're talking about fucking dragons and shit. Might as well. Peace.